Progressive Christian devotional in 3 minutes or less. Too much of Christianity in the United States is focused on fostering a false sense of persecution. It seems almost daily that Christians, especially those on the more conservative evangelical end of the spectrum, complain about how they are being hated for being Christians. But I'm going to be blunt. As a fellow Jesus follower, most people hate Christians not because they are Christians, but because they use their significant amount of power to silence and oppress others. I mean, there are politicians who claim to be Christian who are seeking to deny trans people the ability to get the medical care they desperately need, who are seeking to revoke same-sex marriage, though with the passage of the Respect for Marriage Act, hopefully that will be harder for them to do. Some Christian politicians also want to control the reproductive choices of women, trans people, and non-binary people. These Christians are using their faith to oppress and make life a living hell for others. That's why many people hate Christians. But being called out for propagating a hateful version of Christianity that seeks to deny other people rights is not evidence of persecution. You aren't being unjustly mocked or hated. You are rightfully being called out. Ironically, the Christians in the U.S. that most often scream persecution are often the ones persecuting atheists, people of different faith traditions, queer people, and even other Christians. Hebrews chapter 10, verses 32 to 36 points out what causes real persecution, and that's siding with the marginalized and partnering with those despised by society. You can't be persecuted when you are the one doing the persecution. Advent is a time of hoping and believing in a God who became human, who came to earth to push back against the sources of oppression and violence, and who was killed for doing so. It is also a time for Christians to think deeply about what it means to embody our faith. And if we want to be faithful to Christ, our call is to speak out against all forms of injustice. We are to call out the bigotry and hatred that fuel anti-trans and anti-queer legislation. We are to proudly proclaim Black Lives Matter. We are to advocate for reproductive freedom. In other words, we are called to join in the suffering of the most marginalized, not to cause their suffering. Prayer. God, remind us that we are called to partner with the marginalized and oppressed. We are called to dismantle the very systems that seek to cause harm and destruction. Reflection. What does this time of Advent mean to you?